Ryder.
Please be seated. Thank you. Good evening. I'm Dr. John Ryder, and it's my honor to serve as the Dean of the College of Dental Medicine. I'd like to welcome you all here to our 5th white coat ceremony in honor of the class of 2021. It also just happens to be my wife's birthday, so thanks for coming to her birthday party. For those that could not be here tonight, this event is being streamed live around the world, as well as being recorded so that it may be seen later on the website. I'd like to welcome all the guests here tonight, including the special friends and supporters of the college, adjunct faculty members, members of the local dental community, members of the Maine Board of Dental Practice and the Maine Dental Association, and other dignitaries. I'd especially like to thank all the parents, grandparents, children, extended family, friends, students, not only for being here tonight, but also for your ongoing support of your student and our college. I'd like to thank the heart and soul of our college, the talented, dedicated faculty members on both sides, without whom who provide the knowledge, skills, wisdom, opportunities for the students to learn and become outstanding healthcare professionals. I might have to change glasses, sorry. It happens to us all at some point, right? And thank you to the students for choosing UNE for your dental education. At UNE College of Dental Medicine, we take something called the humanistic environment very seriously. A humanistic environment establishes a context for the development of interprofessional skills necessary for learning, for patient care, and for making meaningful contributions to the profession. And most importantly, it supports and cultivates the development of professionalism, ethical behavior by fostering diversity of faculty, students, and staff, open communication, leadership, and scholarship. We enjoy a collegial approach that is representative of our shared responsibility for one another in our learning and our professional growth. Diversity brings strength and richness in academic and professional discourse through the sharing of ideas and experiences that promote innovation and growth as a community and in the profession of dental medicine. CDM values diverse identities, perspectives, and backgrounds in its students, faculty, staff, and patient communities. I'm very proud to say that this class of 2021 is the most diverse class that we have had. This class has also been the most competitive so far, with over 30 candidates competing for each seat. It's remarkable students like these that help establish the University of New England College of Dental Medicine as one of the most respected intellectual centers in the country and around the world. Now, this is hot off the press. So this morning yesterday they had elections, and they just found out who the class leaders were, or class officers. So I'd like to announce the class officers, and as I call your name, could you please stand? For President, Stephanie Yu. Vice President, Anthony Burgoyes. For Secretary, Drew Sigmund. And Treasurer, Logan Wilson. Congratulations. You get to have lunch with the deans. The white coat ceremony symbolizes the initial entry of each member of the class into our profession. The white coat ceremony in dentistry is a relatively new tradition which started about 20 years ago. Dental students had traditionally been welcomed in the profession at graduation from the program, but today's ceremony changes this concept by welcoming you at the beginning of your dental education and recognizes you as part of the dental profession as you begin your training. We have embroidered on our white coats the official emblem of dentistry. The emblem was adopted by the American Dental Association in 1965. The intertwined triangle and the circle are the Greek letters of delta, which represents the letter D in the word dentistry, and the Greek letter omicron, which represents the odont, meaning tooth. The central figure is a serpent wrapped around a cautery and 32 leaves and 20 berries, representing the 32 permanent teeth and the 20 deciduous teeth. The background color of lilac was chosen as the color of dentistry in 1897 by the National Association of Dental Faculties, and it also trims the graduation hoods, caps, and gowns. The white coat ceremony marks the beginning of a lifelong professional and educational journey. It is a traditional symbol of compassion, professional training, clinical excellence, and serves to remind us of the privileges and duties we have as dentists and the responsibility we have in service to the public. The mission of the College of Dental Medicine is to improve the health of Northern New England and shape the future of dentistry through excellence in education, discovery, and service. This statement frames our culture. We have a purpose to not only educate and train you to be excellent doctors, but also to be socially responsible, engaged in public health, and to become transformative leaders. You must hold tight to your ethics of a healthcare provider and express your values through collaboration, inclusiveness, tolerance, empathy, and a passion for your profession. We believe the College of Dental Medicine fosters true partnership between students, faculty, and patients. So, class of 2021, today we invite you to be partners with us in our mission and colleagues in our profession. The future is still bright and the possibilities are endless. Welcome to dentistry. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker. Dr. Joseph Keneally grew up in Biddeford, Maine, in a one-room log cabin. Is that correct? the son of an elementary school teacher and professor of the Dean of St. Francis College in UNE. After attending Bowdoin College, he received a BA in medical biology from UNE, and after a year in the MS program in microbiology at the University of Maine, he went on to earn his DMD at Tufts University College of Dental Medicine. Dr. Keneally has had a long career of service to the public and the dental profession at many levels. He started as a chair of a successful community water fluoridation drive in Biddeford, Saco Water District in the mid-1980s, followed by stints as a president of the York County Dental Society, 23-year member of the Maine Dental Association Executive Board, president of the Maine Dental Association, vice president of the American Dental Association, chair of the ADA Council on Membership, and a worldwide president of the International College of Dentists, with service at many levels to many committees of that organization. As president of the ICD, Dr. Keneally visited Slovenia, Austria, India, Philippines, Japan, Korea, Taiwan, and I'm not going to read them all, Joe, I'm sorry, there's too many of them here. Dr. Keneally is the third term as the UNE trustee, and he chairs the Student Affairs Committee for the board. Dr. Keneally lives in Kennebunk and practices in his hometown of Biddeford. His wife, also an ACD member fellow, Dr. Lisa Howard, is also past president of Maine Dental Association and currently serves as the chair of the Maine Board of Dental Practice. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Joe Keneally.
Thank you, Dean Ryder. Don't worry, that introduction is slightly longer than my remarks. Good evening. This is the third time that I've been given the honor of presenting the white-coated keynote address to a dental class at UNE, and I welcome the class of 2021 to the clinical phase of its training. I also send the greetings of the Board of Regents of the International College of Dentists. White coat ceremonies began sometime in the 1990s, and they didn't exist when I was in dental school at Tufts. We had more like the blue polyester smock ceremony, which was handed out of the dispensary in a plastic bag from Mavis, who said, "Try this on, honey, see if it fits." That was the entire ceremony. Times have changed in a lot of ways since then. It is truly nice to see your faculty and administrators welcoming you as young, uninitiated colleagues. When I was a first-year dental student, most of the time I felt about as welcome as a wad of gum under the faculty member's shoes. But that was a long time ago, many years, water under the bridge. And I've had a lot of time to learn about dentistry, both the little procedures that we do on individual patients and the big wide world of dentistry and what it does for lives. Dean Ryder has asked me to offer advice about professionalism and what it takes to be a professional. I thought about that for a while because it's so many things, both large and small. The small things can be as simple as the words you use. For example, your office should have a reception area where you receive your patients rather than a waiting room where you make them wait for you. It's better to ask if something's uncomfortable rather than painful. When a patient thanks me for something I've done for them, my response is usually my pleasure, indicating that it is truly my pleasure to be able to serve them, versus the perfunctory "you're welcome." Other meaningful small things include how you present yourself to people, how you look, how you maintain your appearance. It's being focused on the people you're with. And when it's patients, people that have come to you because of your expertise, because of your skills, they really deserve your full attention. So my advice is keep those mobile devices out of clinical areas. You don't need distractions. It's also courtesy, truthfulness, respect for others. Each of you was some sort of academic superstar in your undergraduate years. You wouldn't be here if you weren't. And many of you are probably a bit competitive with your classmates, maybe a little grade-oriented, maybe looking for an advantage over the competition. I have to tell you, being a professional requires you to think differently than you did in getting here. You're going to learn from your skilled professors, but you're also going to learn from each other. You're entering a field that requires you to be a lifelong learner. You constantly need to be working on your skills. Think of this, there are 66 dental schools in the United States. which means every year 66 dentists graduate whose skill set or grades place them dead last in their dental class. And do you know what they're called? Doctor. And they will be just fine, and their patients will be just fine if they become lifelong learners and maintain professional competence. They will constantly improve. So the first major element of being a professional is competence. I'm 62 years old. I've been practicing dentistry for 36 years. There is nothing I do any day of the week in my practice that I learned to do at Tufts in dental school. Most of what I do and love wasn't invented or available yet. Implants, CAD/CAM, light-cured posterior composites, digital imaging, 3D imaging, all of the things that are part of my everyday practice. None of it was taught in my dental school. It didn't exist. I have skills today that I didn't have 2 years ago, and I fully expect that in 2 years I will have skills that I don't have today. Granted, at my age, they might be teaching skills or golfing skills, but I never want to stop adding to my skill set or my knowledge base. If you can develop this habit, you will be well on your way to success. You're going to take board exams your senior year that are going to prove that you are initially competent to go practice dentistry. After that, it's up to you to assess yourself. And if you cannot honestly see your own shortcomings and take steps to improve or eliminate them, you can be sure that the Board of Dentistry in your state will be doing that for you. That brings us to integrity. My freshman dean at Tufts was a past four-star general in the Army, past president of the American Dental Association, Robert Shira. And Dean Shira told us on the first day of school that if you keep the best interests of the person in your chair first and foremost at all times, you'll never have to worry about paying off those student loans, and you won't have to worry about feeding your family. He was right. But the key to successful dental practice is the relationships you build. And those relationships are built upon your personal integrity as a dental professional. Your patients need to feel and to know that you have their best interests at heart and not necessarily your own. They need to be able to trust that you're always going to be honest with them in every interaction. They need to trust that you'll be fair. You only have that kind of trust when you have integrity. This leads to the next element, responsibility. Dentists are highly technical, detail-oriented practitioners. We not only expect perfection, we sometimes demand it, but we're dealing with human tissue, human interactions, and man-made materials. Sometimes our best efforts will not succeed. At these times, it is best to own up to your own failures, whether they're your fault or not. Being able to honestly speak to your patients when things did not go as planned and accept responsibility and then seek a better outcome for that patient, whether it's through your own work or through a thoughtful referral to a specialist, is an important part of the relationship building process that's so crucial in maintaining a dental practice. The next characteristic of a professional is respect. Respect for your patients, respect for your peers, respect for your professional staff. Your patients need to feel that you've respected their time and that you've respected them enough to listen to what they've told you. They need to know that you heard what they've told you about their situation. You know, you never should treat a stranger. Respect for your patients requires you to get to know them. One of my professors told me that if you listen to your patients for long enough, they'll eventually tell you what's wrong with them. Take time to listen. It will make you very successful. I spoke earlier of being a lifelong learner. I also believe you should be a lifelong teacher. Respect for your colleagues requires that you share with your knowledge and your experiences. Mutual professional respect will help you in ways that you can't possibly imagine at this stage of your career, but trust me. Respect for your staff will result in an empowered and motivated team that stands behind you and reflects your own degree of caring. Respect for your patients means educating them about their situations so that they can make the best decisions for their own health care. This leads me to service-mindedness. It is your professional responsibility to care for those in need, and there are many opportunities and many programs that would welcome you. I strongly urge you to do this, but it is just as important to be sure that you're providing the best service that you can in your own practice. A dental practice provides a constant stream of service opportunities through highly personal interactions, And in a world filled with online shopping and phone calls answered by an electronic voice and a menu, outstanding human service interactions will set you apart. If you have a dental team that's dedicated to service, it will reflect well upon the quality of care that you provide. About the 10-year mark of my own practice, I realized that although I knew how to do dental procedures very well, I had no idea how to run a successful dental practice. So I took it upon myself to go back to school, went to the Center for Professional Development in Scottsdale, Arizona, and went into a program that stressed the importance of budgeting, the importance of starting with a patient-centered practice philosophy, and dedication to excellence in both care and service. At this session, over a several-year period, you have to bring your entire team with you 3 times. But on the 4th time, it was doctors only. That's where you talk about your teams. At one of these sessions, the director of the course asked the dentist next to me about his team, and this dentist went on a rant. For 2 full minutes, he talked about how his receptionist didn't answer the phone right, didn't book the patients right. His hygienists and his assistants didn't get along with each other, and they didn't do the sterilization properly because each thought the other one was slacking off. And after about the 2nd minute, the director puts his hands up and he says, "Doctor, just remember this. You get the team you deserve." I was next. I said, of course, "Mine are perfect." They weren't then, but they're getting closer now. But dentistry is a service, not a commodity. It doesn't lend itself to Groupon or Amazon. Think hard about patients are greeted when they arrive for care. Think about how the phone is answered. Is it a person or a menu that tells you how important your call is? I know I don't feel important when I get that menu and I have to figure out which button to push, and then I get a voicemail offering a callback. I'm busy. Callbacks don't work for me. If my call were truly important, a person would answer it and start the process of giving me the service I need. Many of you are racking up enormous debt as you prepare to enter this profession. You're making a huge investment in yourselves. If you can incorporate the hallmarks of professionalism into your lives, you will succeed and your investment will be well worth it. Ensure your own competence. Be a lifelong learner. Never lose your personal integrity. Be honest, trustworthy, and fair. Respect your peers, your patients, and your staff. Be a lifelong teacher. Provide outstanding service to your patients, your community, and your world. Thank you for your attention, and welcome to the dental profession.
At this point, I'd like to invite Faculty Assembly Chair Dr. Jay Boscheman, Executive Associate Dean Dr. Jim Coble, and Associate Dean Dr. Nicole Kimmis to begin the COAT presentation. Go ahead, please come to the front.
Everyone's okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. Our class of 2018, 19, and 20 representatives will lead the class of 2021 to the stage. I'll introduce each student, and they'll proceed across the stage and receive their white coats from Dr. Coble and Dr. Kimmis. Dean Ryder will shake each student's hand. Guests are welcome to come forward, take photographs. Students will return to their seats. I ask the audience and guests to please hold its applause until all the students have returned to their seats. And at this time, will the first row of students please approach the stage? Sarah Anai, Sparta, New Jersey. Chris, Christine Barrett, Gainesville, Florida. Addison Berry, Modesto, California. Peter Boutros, Huntington Beach, California. Brittany Brown, Paulsbo, Washington. Anthony Burgoyes, Massapequa, New York. Daniel Burke, Freeport, Maine. Rebecca Cameron, Brighton, Michigan. Joshua Carney, Concord, New Hampshire. Caitlin Clark, Windham, Maine. Kevin Conchieri, Essex, Vermont. Shawnee Cowan, Old Orchard Beach, Maine. Ryan Creighton, Plymouth, Maine. Mason Sear, Freeport, Maine. Kelly Amon, Anna, Ohio. Chloe Eisenhower, Saco, Maine. Garrett Philibrown, Waterford, Maine. Haley Genoa, Greenville, Maine. Adam Gray, Cleveland, Ohio. Fernanda Guerra, Brazil. Kevin Ham, Vancouver, British Columbia. Zara Aliza Hanif, Miami, Florida. Benjamin Harwood, Winthrop, Maine. Brandon Hazelton, East Greenwich, Rhode Island. Marissa Hebert, Fort Kent, Maine. Paul Heilman, Allendale, Michigan. Kristen Hogland, South Portland, Maine. John Jakes, Westerville, Ohio. Blake Jensen, Lethbridge, Alberta. Jason Keshin, North Andover, Massachusetts. Anastasia Koros, Cape Elizabeth, Maine. Matthew Lake, Eugene, Oregon. Timothy Lysette, Kennebunk, Maine. J. Raphael Malong, Pinckney, Michigan. Amber McPherson, Conway, New Hampshire. Melanie Melgarejo, New York, New York. Kendra Mendez, Greeley, Colorado. Marshall Mering, Marquette, Michigan. Melika Moini, Yorba Linda, California. Jesse Myers, Lynchburg, Virginia. Carlton David Neal, Farmington, Maine. Ty Padina, Yakima, Washington. Jason Palmer, Beaumont, Texas. Henna Patel, Palatka, Florida. Krishna Patel, Barry, Vermont. Matthew Powell, Monterey Bay, California. Patricia Regada Rabinal, San Diego, California. Emily Richard, Arundel, Maine. Robin Russo, Kennebunkport, Maine. Natasha Seavey, Rockland, Maine. Seth Sherwood, Wichita, Kansas. Drew Sigmund, Fairfax, Virginia. Crystal Skrmeta, New Orleans, Louisiana. Gregory Stein, Enon, Pennsylvania. Deeksha Thapa, Wixom, Michigan. Brody Valley, Holden, Maine. Spencer Valley, Brewer, Maine. Daniela Vargas, Atlanta, Georgia. Matt Waller, Lancaster, South Carolina. Jonathan Wormers, Ortonville, Minnesota. Logan Wilson, Lanesboro, Massachusetts. Stephanie Yu, Santa Rosa, California. Katie Zeffron, Browndale, Pennsylvania. Please join me in recognizing the class of 2021 on their significant accomplishments. I'd now like to welcome Dr. Fields Ferrier, Associate Dean of Clinical Education and Patient Care, to the podium to lead the students in the Dentist Pledge.
Thank you, Dr. Boschman. And I'd like to start by commending you on your excellent pronunciation of all of our students' names and their hometowns. So if I could have the class of 2021 find the Dentist Pledge in your program, and then we're going to recite it together. Found it? Can I get you to stand? All right. I state your name. As a member of the dental profession, shall keep this pledge and these stipulations. I understand and accept that my primary responsibility is to my patients, and I shall dedicate myself to render, to the best of my ability, the highest standard of oral health care, and to maintain a relationship of respect and confidence. Therefore, let all come to me, safe in the knowledge that their total health and well-being are my first consideration. I shall accept the responsibility that as a professional, my competence rests on continuing the attainment of knowledge and skill in the arts and science of dentistry. I acknowledge my obligation to support and sustain the honor and integrity of the profession, and to conduct myself in all endeavors such that I shall merit the respect of patients, colleagues, and my community. I further commit myself to the betterment of my community for the benefit of all of society. I shall faithfully observe the principles of ethics and code of professional conduct set forth by the profession. All this I pledge with pride in my commitment to the profession and the public it serves. Please be seated. At this time, I'd like to welcome back Dean Ryder to the podium.
You can probably tell Dr. Ferrier is from southern Maine. Sorry, couldn't resist. Let's see. Sorry. Let me get my papers here. Okay, the white coat ceremony is now concluded. I'd like to recognize some key staff members that organized this event. Kayla Collins, Travis Erickson, Isaac Stickney, Maddie Brooks, and Emily Lewis. Also, great thanks to our musical group, the Portland Brass, over here. I ask that you please remain seated until the faculty and students have exited. Our faculty will be congratulating the students as they exit the auditorium, and a reception with food and refreshments will take place directly after the ceremony's conclusion through the doors to your right over here. Please don't eat all the bacon-wrapped scallops until the deans had a chance to get some. Thank you very much for coming tonight. Thank you so much for your support of your students. Congratulations, class of 2021.